Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Artistry House, the home of the British Institute of Professional Photography. And we're doing our three favourite things today. And on the line today, we've got Ross Grieve. Hello, Ross.
Hello, Martin. How's it going, mate? Good to see you.
And you, mate. Really, really well. We're a beautiful sunny day here in Preston. I think we're on recording this on week 3 of lockdown, but we're staying positive, hopefully, with everybody else. So, Ross, I had a look through your website and things like that, and you're a real all-round photographer. I mean, portrait, pets, weddings, the works.
Yeah. Portraits. Well, it's sort of diversified a little bit. Portraits, commercial work, pets are in the portraits as well, and street photography as well is one of my passions.
Yeah. So the street photography, which I know with us you've got your associate with, that is a passion. Is that, do you kind of make any revenue from that, or is it the other things pair for you to have a great time shooting street photography?
Well, it started out because it was my therapy for going out, because I live down in West Wales and Pembrokeshire. There's not, cities around here. So I sort of have to go out and find things that inspire me. So I was going up to London, I was going to galleries, and then I started taking photos of the street scenes and realized they weren't too bad and people were enjoying it. Then I entered competitions and they won. But I really, really like it. And I still get inspired because you go to the same place every day.
Yeah.
And photograph it will be different every day. So understanding light and that sort of thing. But earning money from it at the moment, workshops and speaking, yes. I am starting to submit stuff to photo libraries for editorial purposes and stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the images I can use commercially.
Yeah.
So, and I have actually been asked, one of the images is someone's contacted me. They wanted to purchase it at wall art as a massive big print, but because I didn't have the model release for it, I couldn't. And my moral compass wouldn't let me sell it.
Oh, good. So the day-to-day kind of the bread and butter stuff is where would you say that you kind of make your living?
Would be my portrait studio, which is here in Pembrokeshire, and my commercial work, which takes me all around the world, really. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not Welsh born and bred, so maybe a little bit of backstory of how you finished up in Pembrokeshire.
Well, I'm not Australian, so I'm a Kiwi. So let's see. I came over here in Came over in '96. My wife brought me back as a souvenir. So I was working for AJ Haggett Bungie at the time as a photographer for them in Queenstown, which is an amazing part of the world. And my wife was on her overseas travels at the time, and we bumped into each other. And I thought I'd come over and check out what Wales is like. It's got sheep and everything, so similar to New Zealand.
To be honest, it's I've visited New Zealand. It's very, very similar, isn't it? It's a lot of sheep, a lot of rain, and you get a bit of cold weather as well.
Yeah, you were down south then.
Yeah. Are you from the north? The Northern Ireland?
I'm from the mainland, which is the South Island.
Yeah.
So yeah, ask any South Islander, they'll call it the mainland. But I'm from Dunedin originally, and then I moved to Queenstown, and then over to Wales, really. So yeah, been here over 20 years. Blimey,
still got the accent there as well.
yeah.
You follow the rugby?
Yeah, I do. I follow rugby. I coach. Well, just finished coaching rugby last year, and I referee rugby as well, actually.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, so we've asked you to supply your 3 images that your favourite images, but you've obviously supplied me 9, and that's because you're Kiwi, and apparently you can't count or something like that. No?
3 bears equals 9, yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to share the screen so we can all see it, and then hopefully we can talk.
But like I said to you, I have a love-hate for my pictures. One day I'll love them, next day I'll hate them. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I find that most photographers are like that. They've never finished editing it. You could give it to them, they could edit it for the rest of their lives, rather than just editing it and that's it, it's done and moving on. And they look back at the work, but they fall in love with it again, don't they? You'll see them.
Yeah, which is really important when you edit, not to delete your photos, because you'll go back to some and you'll fall in love with them, where a few months earlier you might have dismissed them. So I find that quite a lot as well.
This image is, I just find it incredibly interesting. There's so much subtext in it, isn't there? And it says an awful lot. And I did ask you before we kind of started recording, was it caught in camera? And obviously you said it is. And maybe you could tell us a bit of background behind this.
Well, the whole image is caught in camera. The only thing I've done to it is just a slight desaturation, and that's all. Um, I've dragged the shutter, or it had a nice long shutter speed, so I get the motion of people walking through. But I just caught the poster because I love the series as well. It's a brilliant series on Netflix. And the reason I also photographed this, when I post these to social media, I tag Netflix in it and sex education in it as well, hoping that they may think, oh, that's a good opportunity. You never know. It could be a good commercial opportunity that they like.
Yes.
And it's a different avenue to promote their series. I got a bit lucky with the person closest to camera, just blending in the face to the guy on the green poster.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
But it was very much, I think it was about 3 or 4 shots, and I knew I had it. And then I just carried on walking. And
where was it? Where was it shot?
So this is near Brick Lane.
Oh, I know it well. Yeah.
Yeah, I shot a lot around there, and it's amazing from the wall out around there, and just go around the streets and stuff. You can find some amazing scenes. But one of the key things when you're photographing street photography, when people are walking, is to get that stride on people.
Yes.
And that makes the walk look so much better. If you don't have that leg gap, if you like, it doesn't work as much. But yeah, it's sort of had a quick look on the back of the camera. Great, move on to the next one. So,
and how do you ever get anybody kind of questioning you if you're taking some of the kind of street photography or portraits in the street? Do you get hassle from the general public, or do you
I don't, because I don't on the street. I don't, because I don't hassle people.
Yeah.
I have once, and that was in a market. I told this story at TPS last year on stage, and basically, when you go to a market, you've got to remember it is private property. So it's always good, if you're going to photograph in a market, to actually go to the management office and speak to them and say, look, I want to go and photograph around here. Do you mind? So I went to this market in London, went to the management office, and they went, go and see Liam. He's a really nice guy. He loves being photographed. He's on our stall in the middle of the market. He'll be happy to help you out. Great. Went and saw him. When I arrived at this stall, he was busy talking to a couple of people, and his assistant was there. So I was sort of chatting away to her, and she was great. And she said, oh, you'll love this, loves being on camera and stuff. And the people who was talking to me had their back to me. So there was this nice gap between them. The light coming into the market was amazing. And I had this great shot of him talking to these people. Now, I use quite a small little camera for my street photography. And I thought, I'll just get a couple of quick shots. And I took a couple of quick shots, and he saw me and he went mental.
Really?
What are you doing? How dare you take my phone? And I was like, I did have my hands up and said, I'm sorry. I was talking to your sister. I was waiting for you to speak to you. The management officer said, come over. I'm really sorry. You should have waited. You should have waited. Well, shouting. Delete them now. And I was like, oh man, I was looking at them, and they were beautiful, absolutely beautiful images. And I was deleting them in front of them, just going, no. But I thought, now I could stand here or I could run away. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to stand here and chat to him and sort of just say what my mind thought process was. And I knew I was wrong. I should have just waited for that eye contact.
Yeah.
And he actually said to me, if you just got that eye contact with me, I would have given you a nod and crack on.
Yeah.
So there was just that, I just lost that little bit of communication.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important in street photography. Like, some people will go up and go, right, let me take your photo, and run in their face and run away. So we talked for about 40 minutes or so, and we had exchanged email addresses and stuff. And he said at the end, next time you're up here, come and see me, and I will take you all around the market, and I will introduce you to everyone, and you'll get the most amazing imagery. And that was because I was prepared to stand there, not, defensively, but just having a normal conversation and apologizing to the guy, and just sort of explaining my thought process behind it, which he understood. But what it transpired, he had someone in there the previous day go absolutely nuts around the marketplace, and that had upset him.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You can never, you're right. Communication is everything, and you can never tell what's happened the day before, what kind of mood somebody's in, particularly on that day. So the fact that he's going to take you around the next time is, just It's perfect, isn't it?
But transfer over, then I went back to the management office and explained what had happened. They were really, really apologetic. And I think, no, it's fine. It's all good. So they were quite keen at the moment, and we're still working on it. Maybe a book may come out of it.
Oh, wow. Really?
So I believe these things when the dotted line is signed, but
yeah.
Maybe
Maybe a fellowship panel.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, we're going to move on. This is absolutely an amazing image. This, I'm guessing is this a commercial shoot?
It was a commercial shoot. It was for the new Lumix S1R just before it came out, and it was actually meant to be shot on a cliff. So I went and brought 15 meters of fabric from my local shop and clipped it onto a dress, and I was meant to be on the cliff. And it was meant to have this lovely fabric flowing behind her, and it was going to be in the shape of an S.
Yeah.
The weather changed last minute, as these things do in an outdoor shoot. So I was like, oh, and we had a really narrow window to shoot it in. We couldn't reschedule it for next week because that was after the launch date and it was announced and everything. So I was like, oh, right, let's go around the woods just around the road from my house. So we pulled around there. I've got two people either side with wafting the fabric up and down.
Yeah.
And we shot it in about an hour. And it's lit with two, one's bare bulb and one's got an Octobox on it, Elinchrom 400s.
So this kind of fell into your favorite folder just because of the being up against it and kind of change of plans and
completely.
Such an amazing shot.
Oh, completely. Yeah, complete stress ball. And then you sort of have to think, right, I've got to make this work. I was thinking, we can't do it in studio. We haven't got the space to get the width that we want to make it nice and dramatic. It's sort of, because I love red as well. It's got a slightly sort of Welsh feel to it. It's also got that little Red Riding Hood sort of feel to it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those under pressure shots that came through. And if you look through a dress, you can just actually see there's a yellow glow. And that was the sun just dipping on the right-hand side.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Really pleased with the results. Sophie was amazing on the day as well. She sort of just pulled out all the stops to, And
is this kind of a model that you work with on more than one occasion, or?
I've worked with her a couple of times. She's not a professional model or anything, but she's great, and she's up for a laugh. Standing in the woods with 15 meters of fabric clipped to her back.
Which is a lot of weight. You don't realise how much weight there is in that kind of amount of fabric. It's, just on a wedding, the veils aren't that kind of long, but they can kind of, next thing they're pulling the hair out, aren't they?
It is. Well, there's two types of fabric there as well. There's the solid fabric, if you like, and then there's the netting, which you can sort of see on the bottom. And it's more transparent sort of fabric. It is heavy, but once you get that sort of beautiful sort of wave going, it looks amazing.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Right, let's choose one of your other 9. Just one sec.
My love-hate photos.
I love this as well. This has got a big story behind it.
It has got a great story behind it. And this is another image, actually, I spoke about at SWPP last year. So this girl came in with her big sister and her mum and dad. And bless her, she was the youngest. And she was really nervous about having a photo taken, as some kids are. So I got the standard photos of her and I thought, do you know what? Let's just go a little bit crazy. And I got this idea. There's a guy called Kai Stunt, who's a German photographer, and he does this amazing ones of celebrities and that, and he will stylize them completely.
Yeah.
And I just broke that down completely and just to a hat and glasses. So I thought, I'll try this. And I put a hat on her and glasses, and she just absolutely rocked it. I said, just fold your arms again. Just tilt your head up a little bit. And all we've got is a beauty dish above this, as you can see in her glasses.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely rocked it.
She's got real attitude, hasn't she?
She has, but she's got the sweetest little face.
Yeah.
If you see the previous one, I sent that to you as well, where she's just got her arms folded, looking all innocent. But obviously the lighting's different here. It's more dramatic. It's one light coming down, so it hits the head. Keep going, keep going. Up. Did I send it?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
it.
maybe. Oh, maybe I didn't.
How
Oh,
did
no.
it?
I was fibbing to you then. But yeah, she was just standing like this and she rocked it. And because of the lighting, it also gets that dramatic look. And because the lights hit the sunglasses as well, the shape of the sunglasses make it. If the sunglasses were square, the round light wouldn't look right. You'd need a square light and square glasses. So those sort of elements you sort of think of as well.
And this fell into
I'm also
just the styling of it and the impact, I guess.
Yeah, and the parents loved it.
Yeah.
And originally it was just done just to calm her down and so she could have a cool photo, and the parents loved it. Now it's big photo in the studio. The parents brought the image. Once big sister saw this being done, she wanted to do it as well. Then we did one with mum and dad doing their thing as well. So it was all a good laugh and good for the kids to finish on as well. So that went down the right track.
I'm going to move on to the next image. One of the things that I've noticed about the images that what you've given us is the variety of work that you do. I mean, we've gone from a street photography to a commercial shoot to a family portrait shoot, and now we've got a beautiful pet shot as well. So that you keep yourself busy. You're not kind of sticking to one kind of genre of photography, which is really good, I think.
Yeah, but there is that theme of people going through it, I guess. And I love working with people, and that's the sort of key thing, is that interaction with people I love.
Yeah.
But this was shot. This is actually Mark Cleghorn's puppy, Ebony.
Oh, really?
I was doing some work up with him, and Debbie came in and said, "Oh, can you photograph Ebony tomorrow? She has 12 weeks at this time." And I went, "Yeah, of course, no problem." And my mind's going, how on earth am I going to shoot a puppy? At this point, I didn't do any pet photography whatsoever. The only pet photography I'd do was if someone brought in their pet and it would be the family portrait, that sort of thing. I never did pet photography. So I was staying overnight up there and I was thinking, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And I wanted to do something different rather than the standard dog sitting there. And she was quite lively. So I was thinking, there's no way she's going to sit still. So I shot it in 4K, so video format, and I lit it with continuous lights as well.
Right.
So there's 4 continuous lights. So there's 2 down in the front of it, pointing up, and there's 2 sort of on light stands, just rim lighting areas and stuff. So you've got this nice light pull down below.
Yeah.
I'd manual focus on that light pull as well, because there's no way you're going to focus on a black dog running towards you out of the darkness on a dark background.
No.
The best camera in the world is not going to be able to do that. So pre-focused, I knew where my focus point was and I knew where I wanted to run. Put the camera on the floor and how to treat above the camera. And then Debbie would release Ebony and she would run towards me. And this was about the 3rd take. So I'd only do about 10 to 20 seconds in a burst. So each time I'm filming at 30 frames a second. So rather than getting, say, a 10-shot burst, if I shot traditionally, I get more shots in that frame. So normally I'd have about 5 to choose from running through that point. And she ran through there.
Kind of pioneered as well, to a certain extent, this 4K shooting, didn't you? I know that you've spoke about it. I think was it Fortakina and
yes.
So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit more about how that came about.
So when I sort of came on board as an ambassador for Lumix, they said to me, "Oh, have you seen this technology we've got?" And I had a look at it, and basically shooting in 4K, because it's 4 times the resolution of HD.
Yes.
You exploit the frame rate of the video format, and because video captures in a much higher frame rate, you can exploit that. So you can shoot in 4K and then pull the frame in camera, or 4K, you can actually extract the camera in Lightroom as well.
Yeah.
At 6K, you can, with 4K, you'll get an 8 megapixel shot, which you can print to about 30 inches. This is printed, and I gave it to the Cleghorns as well. And this is also in the boardroom in Osaka as well at Panasonic.
Oh, wow.
So they loved it. And this image, they then asked me would you like to do a campaign for one of our photos, which is one of our cameras, which is the GH5? And they asked me to replicate this with another dog called Hugo. So this photo and that my way of thinking sort of led me to other work. But going back to the technology, if you can shoot 4K on your camera, whatever camera you've got, you can do this. Even some iPhones can shoot in 4K as well. So you can then pull that footage into Lightroom and extract it that way.
Yeah.
But you think like a photographer still, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So you manually set your aperture, your shutter speed, your ISO, and then you capture that image and freeze it. It's really good for, say, a glass of water and you drop ice or lime into it.
Yeah.
And you get that nice big splash. That works really well. Kids having a water fight, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And pets. It works.
I can imagine Flaggy looking at this on his wall going, I wish I'd have took that as well. I know Mark really well. He's funny. Yeah, it's a great shot though, isn't it? And as you say, just Debbie bringing in and saying, can you photograph the dog, has led to, where those avenues then kind of open up for you is quite amazing, isn't it? Really?
Well, yeah. And then I do pet photography now.
Yeah.
But I had 2 Rhodesian Ridgebacks come in the studio, and there was no way they were running towards me. 8.5 stone of pure muscle. So there's times when you realize, actually, I'm going to have to just dial it back a bit and just shoot it normally. But yeah, like you say, thinking outside the box sort of opened some doors for me.
Yeah.
Which is really, really nice.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for sharing with us. So just the last couple of minutes, really. I've been asking people who we've been talking to, what advice they can give to other members to kind of get through this time. But I think with what you're involved with, you actually offer so much more in that you do your own podcast, Talking Shop Photography, which I've got the graphic for there, and also you're involved with James on the Honest Photographer, which, as I said before, and I've said it many times, I think it's one of the best resources. It's fun, it's educational, and there's a bit of respite from all the information that's been pumped out there. So maybe you can talk to us a little bit about your podcast and then a little bit about your involvement with Honest Photographer.
Well, the podcast started about a year ago at TPS, funny enough. A group of us sort of got together and we thought it'd be really good to do a podcast, have a laugh. And we were sort of listening to other podcasts and they're a little bit too serious.
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, let's have a bit of fun, but also get some good information out there. Let's include some photographers that you may not know of, but do awesome work.
Yes.
So that's the sort of route we've gone down. So from sports photographers, I mean, the classic one where Ian Cook went out this week and he tells the story when he's at the Olympics at the beach volleyball final in London and his wife spots him on TV watching it with a big grin on his face. Fine guys. But yeah, that's brilliant. And, we've got James Musselwhite on there. We've had Scott Johnson. We've had Viviana Galetto, who's a German fashion photographer as well. There's so much on there as well. And
you've kindly posted in our Facebook page the link to the Cat of the Back catalogue, really. So, yeah. If you're a little bit bored and sat in the garden with nothing to do, you can't leave the house, then absolutely it's good fun to have a listen to this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, listen to my dulcet tones in the garden of a Kiwi and see if you can stay awake. But they're only about, I think, actually we did Luke and David Edmondson. I think that's probably the longest one, went for about 50 minutes. But normally they're about 20, 30 minutes. So
yeah, I think I looked and the average was about 24 minutes. So yeah, it's kind of perfect timing for a podcast, really.
It is.
But I'm working with James on the Honest Photographer, which, as I say, if you haven't, I've interviewed him already, which will probably go live for this one. But he's sent me the video he did of the settings on the camera, which had me crying laughter. It's just how he comes up with this stuff. I've no idea. So. And I know you're involved with that as well, which is really good. And Scott as well. And there's a few other, 4 or 5 of you, isn't there?
Yeah, Sanjay in there, Carl's, Ali as well involved in that. Yeah. So it's a great. I mean, it's James's brainchild, and he comes up with these ideas, and he really, goes into them full on. And always said we just want a really good place where people can escape and have honest information.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, is being
Brilliant.
honest and open. In fact, today we're having Mufti Day, which is a day off, so people can sort of catch up on all the information rather than keep having it bombarded. Because I was saying to you earlier, I
Yes.
look at about 3, including the honest photographer.
Yeah.
And that's loads. That's absolutely loads to look at.
So much
Otherwise,
stuff.
you're not going to get anything done.
So the last kind of word from you on, obviously we're, as I said at the beginning, we're at the point of recording this, we're week 3 into lockdown. So what advice would you give to our members? What are you doing yourself to keep busy, and what can we do to get ready for, hopefully, I don't know, maybe another 5 or 6 weeks? And what somebody did say to me the other day is, look, it's obviously the people who are self-employed, it's more difficult, but there's a lot of people working from home. There's a lot of people who've been furloughed, so they're getting 80% of the salary that maybe gets topped up, but they're not allowed to spend, they're not able to spend it, they're not able to go for dinner, they're not able to go to the cinema. So we're hoping at the end of this period that, touch wood, there's people going to have a stack of money in their pocket and want to celebrate almost free. I know I do already, and I'm week 3. So, so what are you doing to keep busy, and what's your advice, Ross?
My advice is to keep a positive head and sort of set yourself goals each week that you want to achieve, whether it's fitness, work-wise. And there's a lot of jobs that we'll find as photographers that need to be done, whether it's your Facebook, your marketing, all those sorts of things that just need polished, if you like. And it's a perfect opportunity to do that. As photographers, we are actually used to working from home, most of us.
Yes.
So we're used to that environment. So that's not, it's just, you're not allowed to go out, which is a bit of a pain. But then I think if you've got a studio, it doesn't matter if you've got a studio, start looking at things you want to polish up on, whether it's your website, a technique that you want to learn, if it's product photography, macro photography, whatever.
Yeah.
Understanding light, just polish up on those things.
Yeah.
And get your family involved as well, and that's a good way to kill time as well, and also for you to learn, for them to learn as well. Yeah. My daughter's really she's 13, she's really into design, so I really want to get her into that, and I'm trying to sort of get her into to design stuff for me.
Yeah, a bit of labour there, I can see.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting as well that most of the photographers I've spoken to, and Sean Conboy, when I was talking to him the other day, he actually sets himself a kind of schedule through the day. He gets up, he does 2 hours gardening, he goes in the office for 3 hours, then he has a schedule of things to keep his sanity, to be honest. And I think that's really important as well, that people.
That's where lists are actually really good. There's mentally, it's actually really positive to tick something off on the list. Oh, I've done that, and you actually get this little burst of adrenaline. I've done that. It feels good. But what's actually really important, because the days are all sort of blending into one, every day is a Saturday at the moment, but make sure at the weekend, you actually take some time off.
Yeah,
don't work 7 days a week, because it'll just wear you into the ground. Actually step back, do stuff with the family. We got out and did some stuff around the DIY, which that list is forever growing, which I I had a very proud father, dad moment, dad-son moment the other day. My oldest son, he has inherited my genes of being absolutely useless at DIY. So, yeah.
Well, I've got those genes too, I can tell you now. So that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Ross. And we'll speak soon, no doubt. And keep up the good work and the podcast. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Martin. Always a pleasure, mate.